Okay, you guys, hello everyone and welcome. My name is Jennifer Blackard and I am the host of Happy Empires. And today's guest is Cath Manning of the Content Bug. She has been one of the people that I have followed for maybe 6 or 7 months. I've found her on Instagram, but really she is a YouTuber. So today we're going to talk all about YouTube, and I'm going to try to get some of those hidden nuggets from underneath and what happens actually behind or in front of the camera, behind and in front of the camera. So Cath, welcome. Welcome to Happy Empires.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
I have been inspired so much by you. I mean, you just like vulnerably come out. You'll show your dirty dishes. You'll show your messy rooms, and you will just basically say what you're doing today and what's going on. Ask your audience questions. You've got so much engagement. I want you to take us back into what was going on in your mind when you chose the content bug as your topic, and really when you started your channel, and kind of we'll talk about some of the bumps and just, let it all out.
Yeah, of course. So I started my brand over 3 years ago at this point, actually, and I got started as a blogger. So my YouTube channel is only 2 years old, but my website's 3 years old. And originally I chose the name The Content Bug because I was too embarrassed to use my real name. I didn't want anyone to know. I didn't tell my family. I didn't tell friends. Like, I kept it a secret because it was something that I wanted to do, and I didn't want other people's opinions to turn me away from it. Like, I didn't want that embarrassment to come creeping in. So I decided on The Content Bug. I built my website up for over a year, just pushing out blog posts weekly. And then I really wanted to move into video tutorials. So I got started with YouTube, and yeah, that's really how it came to be.
Yeah, no, it's funny that you would want to hide your name, and at the same time, I mean, I see you just like, you're just full on out, real, raw, and awesome. Because, it's sort of funny because I was looking at your life and being like, that's sort of like my life, except you make it like all fun and exciting, and I don't share it, right? Because I feel like, I'm just like the little digital mastermind making funnels for companies and behind the scenes. And I'm like, nobody wants to see this. And then when I saw your content, I started to share because I thought people do want to see this. And I wanted to know like the softwares that you're using and the equipment you are using, and your lighting is always amazing. I was just,
oh my gosh, thank you.
Your doggies. I mean, it was just like, I just wanted to know so much more. So let's talk about, I know that, we can talk equipment, and most people can see that on your YouTube videos, but you work alone most of the days, and you're taking these adorable little pictures on Instagram. And I'm like, what the heck is she doing? So can you share some of the, like, did you just like decide one day that, I'm just going to start taking pictures for Instagram of myself with a switch or something? Like, I know, I'll let you actually talk in a minute.
Yeah, so I have been in love with photography forever. So really, that's just been an underlying passion of mine. I went to college, I majored in photography as well as marketing, and my favorite thing to do was always photo shoots of myself. I thought it was so challenging to figure out where to set up the camera, how I was going to pose. And even in college, like, I had access to models, which were basically just other students there. But I always chose to take photos of myself. So when it came to my Instagram account, like I said, I was a little embarrassed to begin with. So no photos of my face were shown in the beginning. And then once I decided to be upfront about what I was doing and actually like include that personal level, which is so, so important, I kind of turned back to my camera and tripod again. And now I still take all of my own Instagram photos.
Wow, it's incredible.
Thank you.
And your growth is incredible. And know that it seems like you work nonstop. Is that really true? Or, can you take us back into some of your planning and your systems and what you're really finding is working now?
Yeah. So one of the questions I get asked a lot, and I even shared this on my Instagram stories yesterday, a lot of people ask me, how much do I work, or what does like a typical work day look like for me? And the reality is, like, there's no typical work day, especially because I work by myself. Like, I do everything within my brand. So it is a lot of work that I have to do. But I learned pretty early on that I'm not the type of person where I can wake up at 5 a.m., get started at 6 and work until midnight. Like, that's just not healthy for me, and it doesn't put me in a good mental headspace. So typically my work day starts between 9 or 10 in the morning. I like to take time for myself in the morning to work out, read, make myself breakfast, and just kind of get good with me before I give myself to others, because so much of my brand is my personality, like constantly talking on Instagram stories and stuff.
Oh.
And then I work until about dinner time, but I do work basically every day of the week. So I would say sometimes it's like 6-hour days, sometimes it's 10-hour days. But I think in today's day and age, a lot of people kind of glorify the hustle. And I even actually have a sign behind me above, you can't see it, but it says hustle. And I think it's important to work hard, but I don't think you need to work yourself to a point of break. So that's one thing I always try to say is, I do work hard and I'm really productive with my time, but that doesn't mean that I'm working until 2 a.m.
Right. And that you shared on your YouTube videos, like some of the times that you've, started to monetize your channel through YouTube ads. And I know that you also have classes. Can you talk about how you monetize your channels and when that revenue started? Because I know that it took some time ramping up the audience, and, I appreciate you being really vulnerable about all of that.
Yeah. So I started my blog 3 years ago, and my goal was to turn it into a full-time job. So I got started with ads and affiliate marketing because I felt like that was an easy way to get in. I wasn't going to get brand collaborations, and I couldn't really come out with a paid product or anything in the beginning. So I got started with that. And after months of making just a couple of dollars, I wasn't even hitting the payment threshold in order to actually receive that money in my bank account, I decided to start freelancing. So I originally was a freelancer for so long, and that's how I was able to work full-time for myself. And then while that was happening, my goal of mine has always been to get paid to create content. And I wanted to build a brand for myself that was sustainable, not only through like ads, affiliate marketing, but paid products as well, because I think it's so important to diversify your income online. So behind the scenes, while I was freelancing, taking on clients, I was building up my paid products. So now I have 6 paid products. I was building up my YouTube channel. So now my ads revenue on YouTube's pretty good. Affiliate marketing, always behind the scenes, including links, talking about products I believe in, all of that stuff. So I really do believe in diversifying my income. And it's taken me a while to build out these income streams and even develop the paid products that I have.
Yeah. Now, can you take us back into part of your planning and your vision, and I would like to hear kind of what you're planning for this year, but as well as like your vision, because it seems like you may have a really big picture vision around this.
Yeah. So I always say no one can tell you how big you can dream. So I try to like set a huge vision for myself and then break it down into little goals that I can achieve. So big vision, I would like to have like a whole shop of physical products as well as digital products. So whenever people think of me, they have something there. Now, I do get a lot of questions like, since I am and then the education kind of side of things, I teach people YouTube. Why don't I have a YouTube course? And my thought is I want to come up with products that other people haven't created yet, because I want to fill the void that's missing. So like, yes, I could come out with a YouTube course, and maybe I will in the future. I don't know, but I feel like there's so many other things like that out there. So I would rather come out with presets to help you edit your YouTube thumbnail photos so that you can get like a better click-through rate. So I'm just trying to build out my paid products that way and come up with unique and different things that I think are missing within the whole like YouTube world, as well as just like online world in general. But I want to be able to speak at more conferences. I want to host my own events in the future. So that's something in the next couple of years. I want to be able to host like retreats and stuff. And my brand is very much so, yes, it's built around growing your audience online, but I started my brand because I was in an unhappy place. And I think that if you want to be happy, or if you want to create a life that you love doing what you love, you need to work for it, but you also need to make the decision to do it. So I would really love to have like a weekend workshop where it's like personal development stuff as well as business stuff, and talk about like taxes or building a brand, building out your team, all of that stuff that really goes into owning a business.
Yeah, no, and the way that you bring out your content, it's beautiful. I know that you spend a lot of time talking to the audience. What did you do before you had a strong audience giving you ideas? Where did you get your ideas?
So obviously I was a beginner myself at one point in time. So I always just tried to create the content that I felt like was missing. Or even like I got started actually in the digital marketing industry. Once I graduated college, I was a digital marketing consultant, and then I built my brand. But even during that time, I really understood SEO, and I felt like one of my videos specifically says how long it takes to get monetized on YouTube. That was something that I was searching for, and there were no videos like that. There was no videos with that title. So when I was coming out with videos, I would think of exact things that I was searching for and what I could create for other people that were in the same position.
Yeah, really filling the hole or filling the gap of what people wanted.
Yeah.
No, that's really strategic. And it's strategic that knowing that you're searching for it first and then you're solving the problem for it. Yeah. Because if you weren't searching for it, people may not want it. And I know that sounds like, everyday dumb kind of thing, but I see it happen all the time with people who, have a vision and then just have an idea, but don't actually play with the audience and don't play with the marketplace. And I think that is so important. So let's talk a little bit about engagement. Okay. I mean, you're like, I just engage. And do you have a strategy with it, or do you just simply ask a question and then respond? I mean, it seems like you are just like, I'm here, I'm out here, and I'm curious about some of your strategies.
Yeah, you would think, I feel like from the outside looking in, it looks that easy. Like all I do is ask you a question, or I tell you I'm going to be responding to comments, and then that's it. But there is definitely strategy that goes behind it. And I think, so one of the things, like my YouTube audience is very, very engaged. And whenever a new YouTube video goes live, they know that I'm responding to comments for the first half hour. So if people want to talk to me, if they want to ask me questions, they're there then. And I get a lot of comments the first half hour YouTube video goes live, which is really, really great for my engagement. But otherwise, I think really just creating a connection with your audience, like responding to DMs. I mean, my DMs, I get a lot every single day because my audience is so engaged, but even just answering people's questions, responding to their DMs, sharing people's Instagram stories, like when they tag you, that helps to just create a good connection and relationship with your audience, which I think then leads to more of an engaged audience, Right. As well as I'm definitely a person where I'm vulnerable, I'm transparent. So I try to share more so real life things, and people honestly can connect to that and want to connect to that. So whenever, like I notice if I post like a really personal Instagram post or something, I get a lot of comments on that because people feel connected and they want to be engaged in that community.
Yeah. And then from that engagement, are you finding that you're in the friendship land, or can you get them to convert? And let's just talk about conversion in general. I'm from the school of like digital marketer and Frank Kern. And, sometimes I'm like, well, there's no real true call to action. I was kind of set up that every single podcast, every single video I did, that you need a certain call to action. It's like a JV partnership. I'm kind of coming out of that land of school, but I'm finding that it's very valuable to actually have not just a call to action to subscribe, but a call to action to, do you want more? Can we help you to get deeper? So I'm kind of curious how you are doing some of that conversion, because I don't see it like I'm used to seeing it.
Yeah. So I think my audience, one thing that I heard from them a lot is that they were sick of other people only sharing part of the information and then saying you have to buy something to get the rest of it. Okay. And they felt like every video they watched was just a sell for something else. And I
Right.
was like, if you're sick of that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop trying to sell to you in that way. And if I'm talking about goal setting or how I've achieved my goals, I have my strategies in a blueprint that they can buy. And I will mention it, but it's only in like one video every other week. Like I don't mention it a lot. But the other thing is my paid products, they go hand in hand with my everyday tasks in my business. So if people are asking me, oh, how do you edit your Instagram photos? I have presets if you want to buy them. Oh,
Right.
how do you design your YouTube thumbnails? I have presets. So like I tried to make sure that everything went really hand in hand. So when people were asking me basic questions, I could send them to my paid product and it didn't constantly feel like I was just trying to pitch them
Oh,
something.
wow. That's strategic. I love
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Wow. So it's kind of like a recommendation. If you
Mhm.
need this, here, I got this. I made it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We're doing templates this time because so many people ask, how do you write your sales letters? So we made them a
Mhm.
sales letter template.
Yeah, that's perfect.
And I didn't even realize that I was strategically doing that. But now that I do, I'm like, how else can I like get in the line of fire? Like just be the solution to a question that's just there and asked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And that's one of my goals with my whole shop that I have is whenever people ask me a question, I would love to be able to point them to here's an easy solution so you don't have to spend like hours on Google figuring it out yourself.
Right, right. Do you find that as you grow that you're going to be kind of like the go-to girl for the solution for all the things that people there's not out there kind of thing?
I mean, I hope so.
Yeah,
So,
it seems like you might be, right? I mean,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. And it seems that what I've loved about your content is if it's not in your content already, I'm directed to where it could be.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily another podcaster, but it brings up a question so that I can find it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So how many YouTube videos are you uploading now? I know that you have like a rule of thumb of 3, but what are you actually doing? And are you always putting up 3 a week or?
So I'm putting up 2 a week. I was
Okay.
doing every 3 days. So it was 2 every
Okay.
6 days.
Okay.
But yeah, I do 2 YouTube videos a week. And recently I've been putting a lot more attention to detail in my videos and the whole editing process, even filming process. It takes me 5 hours to film a video. So it's a lot of work, but I noticed that that attention to detail actually performs better for me and it's getting a lot more views and it's helping to grow my audience. And it's also, I feel like I'm sharing more valuable information that people can resonate with.
Can you share some of like what your editing software is? I know you've got like swipes and pops, and is there a software that does that?
Yeah, so funny enough, I only use iMovie, which is for free on Apple products.
Wow.
And at first, when I was getting started with iMovie, I thought it was really limiting and I thought I had to spend the $300 or whatever it is to get Final Cut Pro. But I've really learned how to work with it. And I use Canva to design all of my overlays that I have. And I try to make them as detailed as possible with like, if I'm sharing an extra tip, I'm going to include like a different screen that goes over, or if I'm even just saying that I'm vlogging or filming something behind the scenes, I will actually refilm a different scene for that will then go over the scene of me talking. So I try to make, like, I really try to pay attention to the little details. And if I think my video is too boring and it's just like a talking head video, like we're sitting right here, I want to mix it up and I want to make it interesting for my audience.
Yeah, it's sort of like you plan your B roll with your A roll.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
Yeah.
do. Yeah.
So what about those sounds? Like, is that just like you found those for free and then, how does that work?
Yeah. So funny enough, this may be a little extra, but the clicking sound, like I have a clicking sound within my video whenever I share like a screen recording or something on my computer, that's
Right.
like the trigger saying I'm changing scenes here. I actually recorded that me clicking on my own mouse.
Oh,
So
no kidding.
which may be ridiculous, but I just liked the sound of it. And I thought it seemed more real than the free version that came with on like YouTube's Creator Studio. So that one I created myself. Otherwise, I just use the sound effects that come with an iMovie. It's really nothing fancy.
Oh, funny. So yeah, and I've used Final Cut Pro, and the only thing that I really do is like, take out my ums and no's and like, I was telling my assistant I could have a whole conversation on saying, It's, yeah. So I just want to move, like, let's just get to it. What are some of the things that over the last couple years that you've found really helps retain, grow an audience, that people are saying that they really love about your videos?
A huge thing is personality. So I get a lot of people that say that they resonate with my personality, or they just feel like I'm authentic, as well as I try to include bloopers at the end of my videos. So for a while I was getting a lot of comments like, how do you make such perfect videos? Like, how are you so awesome on camera? And it's like, guys, I'm not. Like, it's just not how it is. So I started to include bloopers, and I think sharing more of a real side to me made a huge difference. And it's like just creating a connection through authenticity is absolutely huge.
Yeah, no. And that's what I've resonated the most with, is you are just totally real. You don't try to cover it up. You don't try to pretty it up. It's just, here it is.
Yeah.
So yeah. What's the next thing that you're coming out with? Do you want to share?
So I gave myself all of January to just focus on my content and really figure out what I wanted to do this year. So I'm finally at the point where I'm strategizing what I'm actually going to do this year. I feel like a lot of people finish out like Q4 and focus on everything they're going to do in the next year. I decided to give myself a break because I was in like the heat of my growth, and I still am. Like, my channel's still really blowing up, but I just wanted to focus on creating content, figuring out what I actually wanted to create for my channel. And now I'm finally starting to build out some ideas. So I think one of the first things I'm going to come out with, I get a lot of questions about my content calendar. So I think I'm going to come up with like a template for that. So when people ask me, how did you design your content calendar? Got something for you. But otherwise, I'm hoping I'm going to speak at some conferences this year. I was actually already approached by 2 different conferences. So I've got a decent amount going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, I can't wait to, I mean, you are just like a born star. And do you want to share, like, what your handles are, where people can find you on YouTube? And we'll link it all below in the blog. And, where they can find your presets and your YouTube, right? Cover presets, and anything else you'd like to share.
Yeah. So you can find me. Everything is The Content Bug. So Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. I don't really use Twitter, but I have a Twitter. It's all The Content Bug. And then my website is thecontentbug.com, which is where you can find my shop page, and everything is there.
Fabulous. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Just a reminder to subscribe to the channel, and also please rate and review us on either Apple, Spotify, or Google Play. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye, everyone.